Hey campers, thanks for joining along for this at-home Elephant Toothpaste Science Experiment. In the link below, you can see a link for this printable here, so if you want to print it at home and do it along with us, that'd be awesome. So this is an at-home Elephant Toothpaste Science Experiment, and you likely have all of the ingredients you need already in your home. So let me go over a list of what you need. Hydrogen peroxide. I'm using the 3%, it's commonly used at home. We have dish soap. Want active yeast. And you don't have to use food coloring, but today we're gonna use some food coloring so that it's a little bit more exciting, and you'll also need warm water. Okay, so our first step here is we're gonna mix 2 tablespoons of warm water with a teaspoon of yeast. And we're gonna give this a nice stir for about 30 seconds. You wanna make sure all the clumps are out. Get it nice and stirred up. Now, the yeast is going to be our catalyst for this science experiment. And what that does and what that means is a catalyst helps speed up a chemical reaction. And that's exactly what we're doing in this science experiment. Okay, so once you get it nice and stirred up, you're gonna just let it sit. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is take half a cup of our hydrogen peroxide. We're gonna pour it into our jar. You can put whatever shaped jars that you guys have in your home. You can do a couple different sizes and just see and experiment and see what happens. Next, you're gonna add in a little bit of soap in that. You're going to want to just stir that up a little bit, but you don't want to get it too bubbly, okay? Just kind of want to stir in the soap just a little. So I'm going to try something a little different with this, and I'm going to make lines with these food colorings to see if we can make it really look like toothpaste. This is so exciting. And this is where the science begins. So we're gonna take our mixture of yeast and warm water, and we are gonna pour this into our hydrogen peroxide solution, and we're gonna see what happens. What? Check it out, it's rising to the top and it's, oh my goodness, look. It looks like toothpaste big enough for an elephant. Oh my goodness, this is so neat. So awesome. I hope you guys get a chance to try this at home. Make sure you have adult supervision and wear some safety goggles, safety first. And so what I want to do is I actually have hydrogen peroxide at 6%. Hydrogen peroxide comes in different strengths. 3% is typically what we use in our homes, and I also have 6%. So what I want to do with you guys is side by side compare the 6% to the 3% and see what happens. Okay, campers, I went ahead and already mixed the warm water with the yeast right here, and I've put in half a cup of hydrogen peroxide at 3% in this jar, and hydrogen peroxide at 6% inside of this jar. So now we're gonna mix in our dish soap, And we're gonna add in our food coloring. So this time I'm just gonna do blue food coloring in here. And I'll do some red in the 6%. And I'm gonna stir it up just a little. So you wanna mix up that soap just a little bit. All right, and let's see, what do you guys think is gonna happen with the 6%, the stronger hydrogen peroxide? Do you think it's gonna bubble up more than the 3%, or do you think it's gonna fizzle out and not bubble up at all? Make your predictions, and let's test it out. I'm gonna pour these at the same time, and we're gonna watch what happens. Oh wow, the 6% is really, oh my God, look at that. It took over the blue one. That is so neat, wow. Okay, this is so cool. I'm gonna turn it a little bit so you can just see how it's coming out. Now, wow, this is so fun, you guys. You know, and if you want to do this at home and you want to compare the different strengths of hydrogen peroxide, you should be able to find that 6% or 7% hydrogen peroxide at a beauty store or maybe like a landscaping store. So you might have to call around, but it's not too hard to find. Okay, campers, I just couldn't resist because I was feeling extra scientific today. I went ahead and I have 12% hydrogen peroxide, which is right here. It's going up in green, and we're gonna race it with the 6% because the 6% was really cool, and I'm just gonna take it to the next level and see what happens with 12%. Now, I do have gloves on, safety goggles, because safety first, and this 12%, the higher the hydrogen peroxide gets in percentage, the more toxic it might be for your hands. Okay, kiddos, are you ready? This is so exciting. A little more challenging to pour it with these gloves on, but here we go. Oh my gosh! How cool is this? Wow, let me just turn it around so you can see the foam. Look at that. Now this one was a little bit faster coming out. The foam looks amazing on both. So the yeast mixture that we pour in, that's the catalyst in this experiment. It's what speeds up that chemical reaction. So what's happening is hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, which means it's made out of hydrogen and oxygen. And what happens over time naturally is the oxygen gets released. So what this does is that speeds up that chemical reaction of the oxygen being released from the hydrogen peroxide. But what we did, since we added a little bit of soap into the mixture, that created a solid little barrier for those gas bubbles, which created the foam. Science is so cool. Amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to click on the link in the description below to print out your instructions on how to do this activity at home. I hope you have fun. Follow along so you don't miss out on the next science experiment with Camp Kate.